Hey, I'm back with another awesome unboxing video. And today I've got even more Jakks-specific Sonic the Hedgehog figures to show you. And it's a very, very special day because we have Wave 11, which includes Big the Cat and Chaos Zero. Holy crap. So here they are, Big the Cat and Chaos Zero. So excited to finally have these guys. And I mean, by finally, I mean these just started showing up like last week. So I'm just very lucky to have them this soon, and I just can't wait to open them. Super duper happy that Big the Cat is finally here in the Jakks line, and very, very happy that Chaos Zero got a figure. This is his first action figure ever, so it's really, really exciting. So with no time to waste, let's go ahead and open them. Oh, it's too heavy. And first up, we'll be taking a look at Big the Cat. So here is Big the Cat. Now, he is definitely what his name says, and he is pretty big. He's pretty heavy, not too heavy. You can tell he's kind of lighter in some places. But from the looks of it, he looks really, really good. Now, Big has, let's see, elbow articulation here. Doesn't bend too much. It's kind of hard to bend too, to how bulky his arms are. But he has arm joints, so you can move them a little bit. Let's see, he has movement in the leg, and you can twist his foot around. And then he also has his wrist and, you know, his head, but it can only, it can only turn that far and that far, probably because of the spines in the back here. Yeah, they touch his shoulder blades, so they kind of stop. He also has a tail, which you don't really see in the box, but it can only turn this way and not really go down, but it's fine, it saves space. So yeah. He looks really, really good. Although I will say that mine has a few paint flaws. Specifically right here on the foot, there's some like paint blotches from the strap of his sandal. Doesn't look too good. And one that's just really bad is this big like green-yellow streak on his ear. Now, I don't think that's supposed to be there, so that's kind of lame. His face actually looks way better than the original prototype images we got from Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, I believe. They gave him like really weird tiny round eyes that did not look good, but they actually fixed him here, so that now he looks way better. But let's look at his accessory, which is 2 rings. That's it. That's what you get with Big the Cat, 2 little rings. Now, I think the only reason they gave him that is because he's such a big figure, they probably couldn't fit his fishing rod in, maybe? His iconic fishing rod. It looks like he was supposed to hold one. Like, I'm pretty sure they're hoping to make one at some point. I mean, I hope they make one, but they just gave us 2 rings instead, which is fine, I guess. But let's just hope we actually get his fishing rod. And Froggy, because you can't have Big the Cat without Froggy. Alright, on to the next figure. And lastly, we'll be taking a look at Chaos Zero. And here he is. Chaos Zero. Now this is probably just a perfect way to end this year for Jakks Sonic figures. Now look at this guy. Holy crap. The fact that this exists is crazy enough, but he just looks so good. I mean, it's a very simple design when it comes to, like, you know, details. It's just the sculpt is amazing. Everything is there, even down to the missing tail too. Like, that's great. That's amazing. But yeah, I mean, personally, I just really like this see-through blue, you know, plastic, and thank goodness this is how they went about it, because I could have totally seen them just giving us like a light blue figure and then, oh, Jakks Goldline clear plastic version of Chaos that looks way better. But this looks crazy. Now let's look at his articulation. So head turns, but can't turn too far. Actually, maybe you can probably turn it all the way around. Yeah, you kind of can, but because of these big, like, spine things in the back, you can't really get too far. Arm articulation with elbow joints. Thank goodness for these elbow joints. We don't get a lot of those on these Forms figures, but it's so good. Wrists have a swivel, so they turn all the way around. You can see the ball joint inside. You can bend the legs up, bend the knee, and then, you know, swivel in the foot. So you can get a lot of movement and good, cool poses out of this guy. So that's really, really neat. One thing that has been confusing me and a lot of people, and to the few people I know who have this figure, but Chaos doesn't really have his iconic, like, pink brain in his head. As you can see, it looks like there's something there, but it's like a white paint detail. And from what I've been hearing, there's some that have the brain, which I think I think this is supposed to be the brain detail. But some don't. It's just like a white paint blotch there, because on the inside there's nothing. There's really nothing in there, other than just like a like plastic thing in here that's just how they connect the actual figure. Actually, give me a sec. Let me try something. So I turned the lights off and got my phone out with my flashlight. So I'm gonna see if you can actually see anything in there at this angle. Does that even show up? It's kind of bright. No, see, you can see, like, there's something in there. It's just, I think it's just the part, like I said, I think it's just the part that connects the head, the top of the head, to the bottom part of the head. But there's no physical brain in there. It's just a little paint detail they put on. But even when, like, you can't really see it because it's so bright. But trust me, there's nothing inside, but it is just like a paint detail that's on the front. But if this figure wasn't cool enough, wait till you see the accessory. We finally have the Master Emerald as an accessory for the Jakks figure line. Now this is just huge. I mean, it's a bigger emerald, just like the Master Emerald's supposed to be. So really no complaints there, obviously. But one thing I didn't expect for some reason, that it's completely hollow. Like, it's just two parts that glued onto each other, which for some reason I expected it to be a big solid piece, but I don't think they'd sell that. Let's compare it to the regular green emerald. So yeah, it is very much the Master Emerald. It is huge. It's got more detail in the sculpt, I think. It's got way more detail in the sculpt. And it's completely hollow, but it still has a peg, so you can put it onto playsets or anything that'll fit. But it looks really, really good. I'm so happy to have this. And with Chaos of all characters, which is perfect. This really makes up for Big getting 2 little rings, so this is great. Now let's do a height comparison, which is going to be very exciting for Big the Cat. So here we have Big and Chaos. Let's put Sonic in the middle. Now, I think that's a really good scale with Chaos, but as you can see, Big is too small, which is not surprising. It's still supposed to fit in the 4-inch package, and, I mean, he's taller, like most of the other characters that are out of scale. He's taller, so that's good. It's good that he looks like that, and so here is Chaos and Big next to a 4-inch Sonic figure. As you can see, Chaos, I think, is in really good scale with Sonic. He's a little taller because of the, tip of his weirdly shaped head. But with Big, of course, he's too small. Which, come on, you can't be surprised. It's a $10 figure that's supposed to fit in the same package as everyone else. Of course, he's going to be, not big enough to scale with the 4-inch modern characters. But, of course, him being a little taller still works pretty well. So, I'm fine with it. It makes sense. It's fine. And of course, the last comparison we have to do is with Vector the Crocodile and Omega, which are the 2 tallest characters besides Big. But I think Big is slightly taller only because of his ears. But either way, they're the big guys and they're taller than all the other ones. So it works out. It really does work out, if you ask me. Now, let's try with Eggman, who is actually shorter than all 3 of them. I don't know if you can tell. Let me lift up my camera. Yeah, he's not as tall as Vector, and he's not as tall as Big, and he's not as tall as Omega, but I'm pretty sure Eggman is supposed to be at least this tall, maybe. But, like I said, $10 figure, 4-inch wave maximum. Like, the most we can get is, like, slightly 5 inches, but still pretty good scaling. And before I forget, there was one more figure I wanted to compare Big to, and that is the Toy Island Sonic X Big the Cat figure from, like, 2001, 2003, something like that. It's a pretty old figure. Now, as you can see, he is way, way bigger in every portion of the word. He's got a bigger head, bigger body, ears are huge, but they're pointing up more, alright? Which, maybe for the style of the Sonic X show or whatever that was, maybe it works with him. But obviously this one is definitely more what is it, on model, if you ask me. So this guy looks better, although he's just not as tall as this guy. And when you compare this guy to Sonic, the scale is like really, really good, I'd say. But there isn't too much of a difference. I mean, it's just the style of this figure compared to this one, really. The size also, but this guy does scale a little better, and that's why I bought him, because I thought he looked good with the Jakks figures, and I always kept him in the, always kept him in the display. But now, I think I might have to retire him and just replace him with Jakks Big the Cat. So here are the brand new figures with the rest of the cast of Sonic Adventure. Now, if only we could get Tikal. Tikal would totally complete this. But right now, this looks great. I am so happy that we have Big the Cat and Chaos Zero to add to our collections. Now, never did I ever see them making so many characters that no one ever expected. Like, who really expected them to make Chaos this soon? I mean, we've gotten some crazy ones before, but Chaos, man. Oh, he's so cool. He looks amazing. So yeah, that kind of wraps up this year for 4-inch Jakks figures. But I'm just so happy with these figures. So happy that Jakks has been doing a great job with this this franchise, making so many just fan favorite characters that no one could have ever expected at a pretty good price, with really cool accessories, pretty good articulation, sometimes weird scaling. But come on, man, it's so cool. It's so cool. And you know what? I think it's officially safe to say that Jakks, in the short time they've had the Sonic license, has definitely blown Jazzwares out of the water. Like, Jazzwares figures are great, they're still amazing, but if you can collect these today, you might as well start. That's why I started. I missed out on all the Jazzwares figures. When I heard Jakks was making Sonic ones, I'm like, oh, I'll check those out. And knowing that I've been a big fan of the Mario figures, it's like, okay, now I really gotta get them. So I've been keeping up with these figures forever. I'm so glad to have them. I'm so lucky to find them so early, and I wish everyone good luck in completing their collections and finding these new figures, you know, either by the end of this year or next year. Either way, just wonderful. Wonderful figures. Well, I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.